Monday Night Football, final of the season, is in the books. The wild card round of the playoffs is over. Texans defeat the Steelers in dominating fashion in Pittsburgh by a score of 30-6. I'm recording this right as the game actually finishes for me. Final score is 30-6, though. Pretty apparent even before the game actually ended what the ending score was going to be. It was a dominant match by the Texans, especially towards the end. So much so that the Steelers did end up benching Rodgers, ended up the last drive just sending out Mason Rudolph, who went out and led the last drive in garbage time for the Steelers. But first half it was a low scoring game. Looked like it was going to be low and close throughout. Which again, the first half it was. C.J. Stroud and the Texans struggled in the first three quarters, even into the fourth quarter with some turnovers and some. I think they seem to be struggling with the crowd noise there in Pittsburgh a little bit. That seemed to have a factor on the Texans' offense, but the Steelers offense couldn't get anything going. The Texans defense was getting to Aaron Rodgers almost every play, pressuring him, and if not, sacking him. And that really ended up being the difference maker in the game. As we had late in the game, we had a strip sack fumble by Aaron Rodgers that was returned for a touchdown by the Texans defense. That put the score up, and even at that point, pretty much fell out of reach. Then the Texans, even on their own on offense, went down and scored again, putting the score up to 24-6. And it really felt pretty much over. A little less than 4 minutes left to go in the game, and then the Steelers on that next drive go out, and Aaron Rodgers throws a pick six. So the Texans on defense outscored Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. It was the lowest point total for Aaron Rodgers on offense in his playoff career, 22 playoff games in his career. And it's quite possible the final pass for Aaron Rodgers in his career will have ended up being that pick six. It sounds like Rodgers does kind of lean towards retiring this next year. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But this game also calls into question, have we also seen the last game of Mike Tomlin coaching the Steelers? Yes, they got above 500 again. Yes, they got into the playoffs, but yet again, lost in the first round. That's 9 straight years without a win in the playoffs. It's the longest streak by any Pittsburgh coach. So it's quite possible, similar to the Ravens, that it's just time to move on to something else. Grass may not be greener, but it might be time.